Well, look, today the government has finally admitted what the coalition has been saying for months, namely there is a crisis in Europe, there is a global economic slowdown, and it will impact on Australia. I want to make the fundamental point that this is a government which is imperiling our ability to respond to this global problem. It's imperiling our ability to respond to this very serious set of international economic numbers. This is a government which is making a bad situation worse with its new taxes and with its continuing waste. There is no good time to introduce bad taxes, but this is the worst possible time to be introducing a carbon tax and a mining tax which are going to damage Australia's international competitiveness. This is a government which is continuing to waste the taxpayers' precious dollars. We've seen the pink bats disaster, which has become a byword for government incompetence, where they spent more than $1 billion putting pink bats into roofs and then spent $1 billion taking them out again. We've seen the school halls, which this government couldn't build without rip-off after rip-off. And now, of course, the daddy of them all, the national broadband network, which we learnt yesterday, is going to cost $15 billion at least more than the government is telling us. There is now no buffer against international economic problems because of the policies and the incompetence of this government. Under the former government, we had a $20 billion surplus. We had $70 billion worth of net assets. That has been completely blown because of the policies and the incompetence of this government. We have now seen the four biggest deficits in Australian history delivered by Wayne Swan. There's the claim of a tiny, wafer-thin surplus next year, a surplus which is just 0.1% of GDP and is obviously hostage to international events. And of course, we've seen the debt blow out and out and out. And today we have the revelation that the debt is not $107 billion, but well over $130 billion. The final point I want to make before throwing to Joe and then to Andrew is that we saw in the Parliament last week a Prime Minister who would do whatever it takes to make her parliamentary numbers stack up. Today we've seen a Prime Minister who will do whatever it takes to make her budget numbers stack up, but frankly they don't stack up. They are just not believable, and I'm now going to ask Joe to elaborate on those points.